I really hope it's not this hot on race day. Terrible. What's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Emelyn and I'm training for my first Ironman 70.3, which is coming up very, very soon. I honestly cannot believe how fast time has flown. And this week was another big week. I didn't film too much throughout the week because you know, I had the cat situation. If you didn't see that, you can look at my next video. I managed to vlog a little bit during the weekend, and the weekend was a big one. You know, I practiced some open water swimming. That was the very first time I ever actually swam in open water, and it is currently 26 degrees Celsius, and it looks like everyone had the same idea of going down to the lake. Like, the parking lot is packed. I don't know if the lake itself got warmer, but Kian and I are gonna go for an open water swim. So I'm gonna try and see if I can go out farther this time around versus last week.
I thought you meant like kiddie pops, not like teenagers.
Now that he's done his marathon training, he's finally gonna join me.
Dreading.
The struggle.
Trying to get. I was a lot smaller the last time I did a triathlon and had to put the sweatsuit on.
So I am back from swimming, from my first open water swim, and overall it was okay. It was definitely a nerve-wracking experience. I think the fact that the water was cold, it wasn't in the pool, it was just a totally different environment, and swimming my first long distance swim in open water definitely got me in a little bit of a panic attack. Thankfully I wasn't alone. Kian was ahead of me, so he was kind of like this moving buoy that I tried to sight. It's definitely something I need to work on, because yeah, I kept losing him and I was like, wait, where is he? I had to pause and like pop up a little bit, so my sighting needed a little bit of work. I was scheduled to do a 1.2, essentially 1250 meters of race simulation, so I was like, why not just take it out into open water to really get a feel of what it's going to be like on race day. So we did that, but taking a look at this, there was obviously other things that was prescribed for the day, but I just skipped out on that and really focused on the race simulation part since we are nearing race day. I think something to practice, because we do plan on going there a little bit more often out to the lake since it is getting warmer, but I think one of the things I need to focus on is not to glide as much since it's not like a pool, so I have to get used to increasing my stroke rate. I'm gonna play around with it the next couple times we go and just see what works best for me in the water, so hopefully that gets better, because overall my pace for that was a 2:13, and in the pool my typical pace is around like a 2, and so I'm hoping to get like a 40-minute total time for the race, but I don't know, we'll see how it goes. It all depends what the environment around me is like, and you know, the people around me. So this weekend is going to be a little bit crazy. It is Mother's Day weekend, so we've got plans for that, and then I think we've got some plans tomorrow with some friends that we haven't hung out with in a while, so I gotta fit in my long run early tomorrow morning, so we'll see how that goes. Had my breakfast, I warmed up. Now it's time to do a 2-hour long run, which I just realized is my last long run before race day. Last long run, Done and dusted. On Saturday, I did my last long run before race day. I typically do my long runs on Sundays and then my long brick sessions on Saturday. But since last weekend was Mother's Day, I had to switch things around. And also, I think we had plans with friends on Saturday, so I had to switch it around to just accommodate schedules. I did my long run of 2 hours, and it was 1 hour and 15 minutes in easy zone 2, and then the last 45 minutes slightly above target race pace. Oh my goodness, was it hot. So the past couple weeks, it has been getting warmer and warmer. I would say even more so the past week. That when I did my speed workout late in the afternoon, it was brutal. So this time around, I was like, okay, for my long run, I'm going to make sure I stay prepared. I'm going to get up super early so I can fit in my run very early because I don't want to deal with a heat situation. And because I run very hot, I sweat so much. I was like, okay, I got to bring out the electrolytes. I got to bring in the gels. So that meant the running vest came out. Usually when I need to carry a lot more than just say my phone or a gel or two, I usually take out the running vest to hold my water bottle. So I had a 500 ml water bottle, and it had, I think, a tablet of electrolytes. And then I had 3 salt tablets to bring, and I took that every half hour along with the gels that I took. And I took 3 gels with me, and that seemed to work perfectly, although it was still pretty warm while I was running. It was manageable, I guess you could say. So I'm hoping for race day it isn't as hot, and from what I'm told, the course is quite shaded, so it should be okay. But I'm glad I had prepped all of that, otherwise that long run would have been a huge struggle bus. It is long ride day / brick session, and guess who's training with me today?
Woo! Finally, I can actually go on a bike ride.
Finally.
Not doing a long run today, which is nice.
You're not gonna run with me? We brought our bikes up here to what's called the Lower Demonstration Forest here in Seymour, which is up in North Vancouver. And so we are gonna bike to Horseshoe Bay and then come back, and then I'm gonna do my run here in the forest. Also, I am trying out my tri-suit today. So hopefully this all works out. So we made it to Horseshoe Bay. It was about 31.5 kilometers, and it is freaking hot. I'm so glad I didn't wear a long sleeve. Now we're gonna go get some pastries, maybe a nice coffee, because it's well deserved in this weather.
For sure.
Nutritional's off today, so I'm feeling a little weak, and I'm going into this brick run. Likely not going to finish it all, but I'm going to try for 10 if I feel good, maybe 15 at race pace, and then I need to eat a big fat burger. My workout today is called quadastrophe.
It's going to destroy your quads?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
I really hope it's not this hot on race day. Terrible. Oh my goodness. I don't know. I am having a hard time nailing down the 4th leg of a triathlon, which, as everyone says, is nutrition. I was scheduled to do 3.5 hours and a 45-minute run, and I was super excited for this one because Kian finally got to join me on a long ride since he isn't marathon training anymore. And we decided to try out our tri-suits that we got from 2XU, and I am really digging them. They were super comfortable, super lightweight. Like, I didn't realize how much of a difference clothing makes when you are out on rides. Like, I used to be super layered because I would get so cold, but because on Sunday it was just so warm out, I was like, okay, maybe I should just wear this tri-suit, suck it up. I get cold, then I get cold. And it was cold at the beginning because our route started off going downhill, and so we were going pretty quickly. But as soon as we were in the sun, I was like, oh my gosh, it's actually very warm out. And so I was super glad that I wore the tri-suit and it worked out perfectly. So I'm excited to use that on race day. Now, the thing I didn't take into account was all the external factors. Obviously it was hot out, and when it comes to planning my nutrition strategy, like it was pretty on point for the past, I don't know how many weeks or so, but this past week was brutal. Like, one, I didn't take into account the time elapsed of how long we were out there. I kind of just based my nutrition strategy on moving time. So definitely didn't fuel enough for this bike ride. And then I also don't think I took enough salt because it was so warm out. I was sweating a lot. I was probably drinking a bit too much water, and I didn't put enough electrolytes in the water, thinking, you know, I didn't need that much electrolytes. But overall, like, effort wise, it was fine. I think, yeah, I just didn't eat enough and I didn't take enough salt. So I definitely have to up that come race day if I'm going to put in a similar kind of effort and if it is that hot. So I do have another weekend to trial this, and hopefully that one goes well because it is another 3.5 hour ride. So hopefully. But that being said, because I was bonking towards the end, I was not looking forward to the run, and I was contemplating whether or not I should do it. Like, I was so done. I really just wanted to eat. And the run that was scheduled, I was supposed to run 25 minutes at target race pace and then the rest easy. Kian was like, why don't you just try out for 10 minutes and see how that goes? If you feel good, do 15. So I'm like, okay, let me do that. And so I started out at race pace, actually went pretty hot, and my legs were actually feeling really strong that I went way too fast. I'm like, oh, okay, I could keep this up. But then after 10 minutes or so, I was like, oh no, I'm fading. I really need to eat. So I'm like, okay, I'm calling it. And I was like, you know what? What's the point in pushing this if I'm not feeling the greatest? So I ended it there because, you know, at the same time, I got to listen to my body. And if I'm pushing myself past exhaustion, then that kind of defeats the purpose of training. And since I'm so close to race day, now it's not the time to like push yourself. So yeah, definitely learned my lesson there in terms of nutrition. So note to self, when it is warmer and if you're putting in more effort, eat more and take more electrolytes. I'm definitely grateful that I learned this lesson. Otherwise, I probably would have stuck to the same nutrition plan on race day, and that probably wouldn't have been the greatest. So I've got another weekend to try this out. I've got next Saturday, I do have another 3.5 hour ride and a 45-minute run. I think it's quite similar. So I got to make sure that I add more carbs and then take more salt frequently. Overall, this week went really well despite the bonk at the end of the week. It is my last big week. So that wraps up another week of training, and the total of this week's training came to 91%. So I'm pretty happy with that. There were a few modifications, like the swim. Instead of going to the pool, I took it outside and did open water. So I didn't do the prescribed like 50 to 70 minutes, but I did do the main thing, which was the race simulation. So I'm looking forward to keep practicing that for the next couple weeks. And then obviously the brick run after my long ride didn't go so well because, yeah, fueling was an issue. So let's hope that I fix that next week. I honestly cannot believe I now just have 2 weeks left until race day. If you haven't caught up with the rest of my 70.3 Ironman journey, I do have a series here, so you can go check that out. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the later one. Bye!